All right, so first name on the calendar for Tuesday, December 17th of 2024 at 10 a.m. The arraignment calendar for Clayton County State Court, Judge Tammy Long Hayward. The first name is Trina Whitset.
Judge, Ms. Whitset is present in the courtroom. I'm going to ask her to step up to the meeting. If you stand right here, you can address the court. If this goes off, she can still see you. She's right there. Okay.
Ms. Whitset, you're before the court for case 2024 CR 09972, battery, family violence, simple battery, family violence, and simple battery. It is indicated here that you may need an attorney to represent you. Do you need an attorney, ma'am?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have an attorney already?
No, ma'am.
You gonna represent yourself on battery charges?
Yes.
All right. You understand for each of these offenses, the maximum penalty is 12 months in jail, up to a $5,000 fine, or both per offense, and you have 4 offenses.
So can I do a public defender or something?
You could get our indigent defense counsel, the law firm that is in court, Mr. Taylor or Mr. Lynch. I can appoint them to you if you wish.
Okay.
Okay, so they'll speak with you today, and they'll tell you what we're going to do next. Okay. All right. Have a seat. Amanda Williams.
Judge, Ms. Williams is on the Zoom call. Ms. Williams, if you can, yes. So Ms. Williams, Judge, I believe we're likely going to enter a not guilty plea today, but I would like to have a brief conference with Ms. Hagler to see. I don't think I have anything on the table right now, but likely we will go forward with a not guilty plea today.
All right, so Ms. Williams, if you do in fact enter a not guilty plea, please remember that you have bond conditions. If you don't know what your bond conditions are, please make sure that you come to the courthouse and get a copy of the bond conditions that you were given when you were released. But they probably say that you're not to have contact with an individual listed on the conditions, and maybe not to go back to a particular location. Please make sure you do not violate those bond conditions. If you were to violate them, you could have your bond revoked and spend the remainder of the time in jail until your case is resolved. You could also be charged with additional misdemeanors or felonies. Do you understand?
I do.
Okay, so Ms. Williams, I'm going to just ask you to hold because Mr. Lynch wants to speak with the state before you enter your plea, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, just mute your device.
Your Honor, I can put the offer in the chat for Attorney Lynch if he needs an offer on this case.
I think. Oh, okay. Okay, so those are the 2 arraignment cases. Next is the jail calendar. Right. First case on the calendar is Jamal Beck. I'm sorry. This is a petition.
Yes, Judge. I did speak to Mr. Beck. We are going to go forward with a stipulation, but we're going to ask for something a little bit different than
I'm sorry, what now?
Judge, Mr. Beck does want to stipulate to violations of probation.
Okay.
He does want to do that today. Ms. Chang did email to me her recommendation along with the petition. We are going to ask for something slightly different than what Ms. Chang is asking for, but we're ready whenever we're ready. The court's ready.
All right. A second. Okay, so Mr. Beck has 2 cases, and that'll be in the same petition. Ryan Jodius Brown, the Jodius Brown. I'm sorry.
Yes, Judge. That is going to be a plea today. I did want to have a brief discussion with Ms. Hagler to see if we could get a negotiated plea on the table in light of some things that I'm going to make her aware of, but it will be a plea today regardless.
All right, Christopher Blake, that's 2 cases that'll be petitions before Officer Carmichael.
Right. Yeah, sure. Oh,
Go ahead. I haven't had a chance to speak with them yet, Your Honor.
Oh, okay. So you need to speak with Mr. Carmichael, Mr. Lynch?
No, I don't know if Mr. Carmichael was referring to whether he'd spoken to myself
Mr. Carter?
or Mr. Carter.
Mr. Carter.
Okay. Are you coming down, Mr. Carmichael?
Absolutely, Your Honor. I'm just gathering some things. I'll be down there in a brief minute.
Is that
Okay.
Christopher Carter here? Okay, Christopher Carter is in the courtroom, Judge. So
All right, great. And Crawford, Terry Devon Crawford.
Judge, that's going to be plea today. Again, I do want to speak to Miss Hagler just to see whether we can get a different negotiated plea. Otherwise, we'll be non-negotiated on Mr. Crawford.
All right, another petition, Kimberly Bianca Day.
Is there a Miss Day in the courtroom?
Your Honor, actually, in regards to Miss Day, I've actually spoken to her. She sent me an email last night. She was stating that she was having some car trouble. She was going to keep in contact with me. If at all possible, I was actually going to ask for a reset.
Okay, she did let you know.
She did inform me, yes, ma'am. I was going to work with you for a reset date and then inform her later.
Miss Val, do you have a reset date for Miss Day? We'll get that to you, Mr. Carmichael.
Yes, ma'am.
Padet Hassan.
Judge, he's in custody. I've spoken to him. We are going to stipulate, and we're ready to go forward with that whenever the court is ready.
Telicia Johnson.
I believe she's in the courtroom, Judge. She is in the courtroom. That's Mr. Carmichael's case.
Yes, ma'am, and I haven't had a chance to talk with her yet. I'll be down there shortly.
All right. And Laura Luna.
Judge, I believe, did you speak to her yet? So we have the interpreter here. She's in the booth. Mr. Taylor's gonna speak to her right now.
Okay.
Right.
Shakima Carmelita St. Omer.
She's present in the courtroom as well, Judge. It's another Mr. Carmichael's.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
Mr. Carmichael's gonna come down and speak with you. And Gerard Williams.
Present, Judge. He's in the courtroom.
All
And
right.
I'll be down there to speak with them.
All right, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to let Mr. Carmichael come down and speak with the individuals in the courtroom. I'm going to put Mr. Lynch and Mr. Taylor in a breakout room with Ms. Hagler, and then once you all come back with announcements, we should be able to roll through everything.
Yes, Judge.
Hello?
Yes, sir. What's your name, sir? I'm sorry?
Willie Whitset.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. What did you need, sir?
I was the one who filed a complaint against my wife.
Okay, so if you are on the calendar, just don't say anything to me. If you need to speak with somebody, then you want to chat your information to Miss Carmichael. I'm sorry, not Miss Carmichael. Oh, Lord, I'm getting everybody mixed up. Hold on. Let me finish this breakout room. Just 1 second, sir. So Miss Hemphill is who you want to chat with, sir. And you want to make sure you're chatting to Miss Hemphill and not to everyone. Miss Hemphill, if you could send him a test chat so he could reply, and that way it doesn't go to the whole courtroom.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sending one now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. And the courtroom and Miss Hagler will be in breakout room number 2. Well, I'm sorry, breakout room number 1. All right, and I'll be back as soon as you all have an announcement, and that's I think this is another, Miss Vilma is another witness. I don't remember her being on the calendar. So Not sure who TV is either.
Judge, we are still holding on one or two people, but if you wanted to start rolling through some of the people we are already on, I think me and Ms. Hagler are probably ready to go through a few. We have a few probation cases that are ready as well. Standing by. If I could be placed in a breakout room with Amanda Williams briefly, then I would have that announcement for the court. Scratch that. I'll call Ms. Williams on the phone.
Attorney Lynch, I was just informed by Ms. Arnold that you all do have the Rex and the police report for Whitset. She sent it on yesterday, and it's page 1 through 3 in the email. So you all already have everything for that. Yeah, so yeah, everything's in the email.
Are we ready to go forward? Hello? I don't see anybody in the courtroom.
Your Honor, I'm actually ready to go with my petitions, but I didn't know if you want to do the arraignment calendar first.
We only had 2 cases on arraignment, so we've talked about those, and I think Mr. Lynch is dealing with those right now. So I'm ready on the jail calendar when everybody else is ready.
Gotcha.
Come outside and see if the attorneys are outside, Your Honor.
They're outside?
Yes.
Oh, okay, just let them finish. I'll just tell them I'm ready whenever they are.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Ms. Hagler.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
This might be better. Did you have a chance to talk with Miss, I believe her name was Atilano? She was on the call. She's the named victim in Miss Luna's case.
She needs, we're waiting for, she needs an interpreter.
She needs an interpreter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Miss Luna's been in custody since. I'm wondering if you would consider either waiving or suspending the $300 fine and the 40 hours community service.
She's been in custody since when? I think your mic broke out.
October, middle of October. Let me grab that date.
Since the incident date, October 29th?
Yes, so roughly 6 weeks now.
Mm-hmm. Hold on.
And when I read the police report, the relationship between the Miss Atilano and Miss Luna is Miss Atilano is the godmother of Miss Luna's 3-year-old son. And per the police report, Miss Atilano did not want to see Miss Luna arrested. I think that's what she wants to tell you and the court, and that's when she's on the. That's her iPhone.
Okay, well, I think, we've been, well, I don't think that's the case. But nevertheless, if she's been in that long, we can do Yeah, we can do 12 months to serve. What is it? We can do 12 months to serve 45 days. This is what, December? Yeah.
Okay,
12 months to serve 45 days. I'm putting my note. Balance suspended, and then no contact with the victim.
okay. Check with the victim and see, that's no contact or no violent harassment contact. I know they do attend the same church.
Okay, to my understanding is no contact. I would definitely have my victim advocate confirm, but it's my understanding is no contact. She doesn't want contact with her.
Okay, so she's iPhone, and we have the interpreter in the courtroom.
She's here. Okay, so I'll let my victim advocate know, and then that way she can be informed, and the interpreter is in the courtroom.
12 months, sort of 45 days suspended upon no contact, correct, for both charges?
Yes, and then for count 3, it would be the same 12 months to serve 45 days, no contact to run concurrent.
Very good. I will let her know, but I think we will have a plea on that today.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Ms. Hemphill, if you're still on, the interpreter is in the courtroom to speak with the victim.
I do have a couple announcements, if y'all are ready from the arraignment calendar.
Go ahead.
Judge, Miss Amanda Williams is going to enter a not guilty plea today.
All right, Ms. Williams, you heard what I said earlier about the bond conditions. If you don't currently have a copy of them, you can get them from the state court clerk's office. But I'm going to release you with a not guilty plea at this time.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Just update me if your contact information changes, but we're
Yes. Thank you.
Judge, I do have an announcement for Miss Trina Whitset as well.
Okay.
She does want to enter a plea negotiated, meaning she wants to accept the recommendation from the state. However, she does want to ask the court to take it under the First Offender Act, and she is eligible based on her report.
Okay. All right, bring her up.
And I believe Mr. Willie Whitset is on the call as well.
Okay. All right, Ms. Whitset, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you speak up a little bit for me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you can put your hand down. You're before the court on 2024 CR 09972, Trina Rochelle Whitset, for battery family violence, count 1, battery, count 2, simple battery family violence, count 3, and simple battery, count 4. You're represented by the law firm of Lister Holton Dennis. Mr. Owen Lynch is with you as your attorney. Mr. Lynch, what does your client plead to the offense before the court?
Judge, she pleads guilty, but she asked you to take the plea under the Act for First Offenders.
2 through 4 will merge.
That's my understanding, Judge.
All right. By entering a plea of guilty to count 1 under the first offender statute, Ms. Whitset, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself. And if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Factual basis and recommendation, please, Ms. Hagel.
Yes, Your Honor. On or about October 21st of 2024, Officer Sparrow Duncan responded to 5856 Wedgewood, Atlanta, Georgia, Clayton County, in reference to a domestic disturbance call. Upon his arrival, he did make contact with the victim, Mr. Willie Whitset, who reported that his wife, also the defendant standing before you, pushed him down the stairs while holding a gun. Officer Duncan did notice that the victim sustained an open wound on his elbow from the wall after being pushed. Also, he observed that there were visible holes and scrape marks as well. At that point, Your Honor, the defendant was arrested. Your Honor, the state's recommendation for count 1 is 12 months probation, 40 hours of community service, a fine of $300 to complete the family violence intervention program, and to have no violent or harassing contact with the victim, Mr. Willie, Willie, Whitset, Whittsett, and counts 2, 3, and 4 will merge. And also the victim is on the Zoom and does wish to give a victim impact statement as well.
Mr. Whitset, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true. You got to unmute your device for me.
Yes.
All right, you can put your hand down. Mr. Whitset, tell us what you need me to know.
I was trying to get my wife back home.
Okay.
That I'm gonna seek counseling just as well, and we're gonna. And that's basically it.
How long y'all been together?
About 17 years. You know, we've been up on the stressful situations, so it's sad, but I know we can pull through it.
Okay, well,
I still love her.
counseling is a wonderful thing. And a lot of times, if you're dedicated to being together, then that's what's necessary and that's what will work. Stressful times come, but if you're in a relationship where y'all intend to be together, then y'all have to understand that you have to be together in dealing with the stress. Like, you can't one person deal with it one time, one person deal with it. Y'all have to sit down, put it on the table, and deal with it together. Stressful times will come. Okay. And then y'all have to be open and honest with each other. So you know that you can make this work. If this is not what is for you, then realize it and then walk away peacefully. But if y'all intend to be together, then know that stress is gonna come. That's what life is about. But if you're handling it together, then you can handle it better that way. All right. Ms. Whitset, is there anything that you wish to say in this matter?
Well, he said 17 years, we've been over 20 years, 25 years we've been married. It was just a misunderstanding, and like I say, it was stress.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to accept your plea. I'll sentence you under the first offender statute. I'm sure Mr. Lynch has advised you about this is your one opportunity to use this first offender statute in order to be adjudged not guilty at the end of this process. Then you have to complete all of the probation conditions, all of the special conditions of probation. Each of these conditions are considered special conditions of probation. And the quickest way to get rearrested is to not appear for your probation reports. The probation officers here are very diligent about helping you succeed on probation. If you work with them, they will more than work with you. And so please make sure that you have any issues, you go to them first and let them know. But I'm going to sentence you on this case under the first offender statute on battery. The counts 2, 3, and 4 will merge, but count 1 is battery, family violence, to 12 months probation, 40 hours of community service, a fine in the amount of $300. With the surcharges, the total fine is going to be $444. You're to take a family violence intervention program. It's a 24-week course. And if you miss more than 3 times, they'll make you start all over. And it's hard to finish that in the 12 months you're given. You got to be consistent. And so please make sure that you are consistent about going to that.
Your Honor.
Excuse me. And you're to have no violent or harassing contact with Mr. Whitset. Yes, Mr. Lynch?
Judge, I'll explain. Would you consider waiving probation fees in this case? Ms. Whitset is currently out. She does have some interviews scheduled, but I know it's going to be a lot of a financial burden to pay for the courses, to pay the fine. So I'd ask the court to consider that.
She's not currently employed?
Not currently, but she has been looking, and she does have some interviews scheduled.
I'll waive for the first 3 months.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Okay. All right. Miss James, our probation expert today?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Ma'am, you're going to turn to your right as you leave the courtroom. You're going to go to courtroom 305 and speak with Miss James. If she's with someone, she'll ask you to wait in the hallway until she's ready. Y'all give me a minute to get some water. I'll be right back.
When the judge comes back, we go with Ms. Luna.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But secondly, we're going to have to go with Ms. Luna next, since we have the interpreter here whenever judge returns.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. Mr. Whitset, you're free to go at this time, sir.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I was told that I was supposed to be speaking today, and no one said anything to me so far.
Okay. Which case are you here on?
For Amanda Williams, I was assaulted by her.
Okay,
I was contacted by Miss Hemphill yesterday. Over the weekend.
I'm sorry, I don't know who the witnesses are until the state announces. Miss Williams has decided to enter a not guilty plea, which means that she's going to take her case to trial. So had she taken a plea, then we would have heard your testimony. At this time, your testimony is probably going to be necessary at trial, but Miss Hemphill is going to speak with you about all of that.
Okay, so may I leave the Zoom call?
Miss Hemphill, may I release Miss Morris, or did you need to give her some information?
Your Honor, I believe Ms.
Yes,
Hemphill.
ma'am. I tried to contact her to give her updates, but I'll follow up with Ms. Morris again, Your Honor.
All right. Do you have the number to reach her?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Yes, ma'am, Ms. Morris. She's going to contact you with updates, but you're free to go at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, if we could
Yes,
have Miss Luna come out while the interpreter's here so we can. take-
yes. Go ahead.
She's coming out now. This is the
Good
judge.
afternoon.
All right.
If this screen goes out. See up there.
All right, Ms. Luna, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give will be true.
I swear. I swear.
You can put your hand down, ma'am. You're before the court on State of Georgia versus Laura Luna, 2024 CR 09944. You're represented by attorney Taz Taylor. And you're before the court on battery count 1, simple battery count 2, and criminal trespass count 3. Mr. Taylor, what is your client plea to the offenses before the court?
Your Honor, my client pleads guilty to count 1. Count 2 should merge, and guilty to count 3.
By entering a plea of guilty to counts 1 and 3, count 2 will merge with count 1. You give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And if you are not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty and no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things, Ms. Luna?
Es un poquito. A little bit.
What did you have a question about?
Estaba hablando muy rápido y por eso perdí el. The thing is that you're speaking very fast.
I'm sorry. Lo siento. So, Ms. Luna, it means that by entering the plea, you won't have a trial.
No trial. Okay.
Okay.
It means that if you wish to say something about your case, you may. The state does not have to present all of its evidence against you today.
Because we are entering a plea. No trial. No presentation of evidence.
It means that you're admitting to the offense, so the state does not have to prove the case against you.
Like we discussed. They don't have to explain now because we know what we're entering a plea to.
But your attorney will tell us anything that he feels it is important for the court to hear about your side of the case. Did you have any other questions?
¿Van a escuchar mi versión a mí o van a escuchar la versión de la? Are they going to listen to my side of the story?
We don't present a story today.
Nosotros no vamos
Okay, I'm having trouble hearing y'all.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, just explaining the procedure of entering a plea today.
Okay,
We have,
Let me-
I would say, we have discussed
Nosotros
the-
hemos hablado
the evidence presented in the police report, and Ms. Luna understands the circumstances.
y él ya entiende las circunstancias.
And we do feel, I feel,
Y yo-
based on our
y pienso que
discussion
basado en
and
nuestra
her wish,
conversación,
that there was sufficient
de que hubo suficiente
information presented in the
información,
accusation
la cual
for us to
estuvo
enter a plea.
presentada en la acusación para que nosotros hagamos esta declaración a cargos.
Ms. Luna, are you ready to go forward?
¿Está usted lista para proceder? Sí. Yes.
Factual basis and recommendation, please. Interpreter speed.
Terminación de hechos, corrección.
Yes, Your Honor. On or about October 29th of 2024,
Octubre del 2024,
Officer Desmond, D as in David, E S as in Sam, MON, D as in David, Ayers, AYERS, responded to 591 Flint, F as in Frank, LINT as in tree, Flint River Road, Southeast, Jonesboro, Georgia,
respondió
30.
respondió a las 5:21 para Flint River Road, Southeast, Jonesboro, Georgia,
To the charge.
30238 Clayton County,
30238 en el condado de Clayton,
in reference to a fight. Upon arrival, he made contact with the victim, Lilia Atalano, LILIA, last name spelled A as in apple, T as in tree, ILANO. Who advised that she was praying to the church and she was attacked by the defendant. She advised that the defendant started to scream at her
a gritarle,
and started to hit her multiple times.
pegarle varias veces.
She ran out of the church for help as the defendant was chasing her.
La acusada la estaba persiguiendo.
The victim advised that the defendant then snatched her necklace from her neck.
La cadena de su cuello.
She also advised that a witness named Sylvester, S as in Sam, IL, B as in Victor, ES as in Sam, TRE, last name spelled E as in elephant, S as in Sam, CO, B as in boy, AR, Escobar.
Escobar.
Came to the incident and helped her get away from the defendant.
Llegó al incidente y la ayudó a escaparse de la acusada.
Officer Ayers did make contact with Mr. Escobar,
Señor Escobar,
and he advised that the defendant was attacking the victim inside the church.
estaba atacando a la víctima dentro de la iglesia.
He advised that the victim then ran out of the church and he helped her get away from the defendant.
De la iglesia, y él ayudó a escaparse de la acusada.
Your Honor, those are the facts of the case. At this time, the state's offer for count one is 12 months to serve, 45 days,
45 días,
balance suspended.
suspendido,
The defendant is to have no contact with the victim.
contacto con la víctima.
Count two will merge, and count three, 12 months to serve, 45 days, to have no contact with the victim, to run concurrent. And the victim, Ms. Lilia Atalano, is on and would like to give the victim impact statement.
Lilia Atilano.
All right. Ms. Afalano,
Señorita Atilano,
raise your right hand for me, ma'am.
levante su mano derecha para mí, señora.
You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give will be true.
Jura usted y afirma solemnemente que cualquier testimonio que usted presente va a ser la verdad.
She's muted, Your Honor.
I'm sorry?
She's muted. Her phone is muted.
Miss Abilano, unmute your phone for me.
Señora Tilano, prenda el micrófono para mí.
¿Ahora me escucha?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Sí. All right, you're good.
Está bien.
You can put your hand down.
Puede bajar su mano.
Okay.
Tell me what you wish me to know.
Dígame lo que usted quiere que yo sepa.
Lo que dice el reporte de la policía es verdad. Ella me golpeó varias veces en la cara, me jaló varias veces mi hombro, me rompió mi cadena, mi medalla que traía yo.
The police report says it's true. She pulled me a few times. She hit me on the face and she broke my chain that I had. Okay.
Ese día me tuvieron que ayudar varias personas, no solamente el señor Escobar, sino hubo varias personas que estuvieron ahí ayudándome porque Laura se puso muy agresiva y no me quería soltar.
On that day, a lot of people had to help me. Not only Mr. Escobar, but other people as well, because Laura became really aggressive and she wouldn't let me go.
De hecho, el sacerdote de esa iglesia me dijo que levantara los cargos porque ya era justo después de tanto tiempo en el que ella me estaba persiguiendo, levantar un cargo sobre ella, sobre todo por lo sucedido de los daños.
As a matter of fact, the priest of the church told me to press charges because it wasn't fair after she was following me around for so long, and especially after the damages that happened on that day.
Did you know Miss Luna prior to this incident?
¿Usted conocía a la señora Luna o la señorita Luna antes del incidente?
Sí, la conocía por la misma iglesia, por las reuniones de la misma comunidad.
Yes, I knew her because of church, because of the meetings that we had in that community.
Did you have any issues with her prior to this?
¿Usted había tenido problemas con ella antes de esto?
No, de hecho, éramos muy amigas. De hecho, nos platicábamos mucho. Yo no sé por qué ella...
As a matter of fact, we were really good friends and we used to talk a lot.
All right.
Yo no sé por qué ella empezó a tener esa actitud de agresividad contra mí. Yo no le hice nada.
As a matter of fact, I don't know why she started to have a attitude of aggression towards me because I never did anything to her.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Gracias, señora.
¿Puedo decir una cosa más?
Can I say
Sí,
something else?
yes.
Su esposo de Laura se ha estado comunicando conmigo. Yo se lo hice saber a un sheriff, a un oficial que me habló sobre esto. Me dijo que no le contestara, que ya los cargos sobre Laura iban a hacer decisión del juez. Pero lo que me dijo el señor, su esposo de Laura, es que quitara los cargos porque Laura está enferma, necesita atención psiquiatra. Supuestamente el señor. Yo le dije que por qué no.
Momento.
Laura's husband got in touch with me, and I got in touch with the sheriff, and the sheriff officer told me that her charges, a judge was going to make a decision on the charges. But he told me that he wanted me to have the charges dismissed because Laura has mental issues and she needs psychiatric help.
All right. Anything else at this time, ma'am?
¿Algo más a este punto, señora?
A lo que yo pregunto, si Laura necesita atención psiquiatra porque puede agredir a cualquier persona, no solamente a mí. Esta vez fui yo la agredida, pero ella puede agredir a cualquier persona. ¿Por qué no está en un centro psiquiátrico como su esposo lo dice?
My question is, if Laura needs psychiatric help, because she could be aggressive towards anybody. This time it was me. Later could be somebody else. Why isn't she in a psychiatric hospital like her husband was asking?
Su mismo esposo me dijo que ella ya había agredido a su hijo, el más pequeño.
Your Honor,
her
I
husband.
just feel that this.
Hold on, Mr. Taylor. Let me hear what she said. Let Ms. Bermudez interpret.
Said that she had assaulted their son, the youngest one.
Unfortunately, Ms. Atilano, we don't have the resources that I would want for individuals who have these types of issues.
Desafortunadamente, señora Tilano, nosotras no tenemos los recursos
If
para las personas que tienen este tipo de problemas.
If she is already diagnosed and has a treatment regimen, then we can order that she stay on that regimen, but we don't have any way of having somebody watch over her to make sure it happens.
Si ella ha sido diagnosticada y tiene un tratamiento, nosotros podemos hacer que ella se mantenga en ese tratamiento, pero nosotros no podemos hacer o vigilarla para que esto ocurra.
There are programs that her husband could get her into, depending on what their resources are, but I do know that Grady Hospital has a psychiatric program that many people have been helped by.
Su esposo puede recurrir a algunos programas que existen, pero yo sé que el hospital de Grady tiene un programa psiquiátrico que pueden utilizar. Yes.
Cool. Your Honor, may I speak with my client for one moment?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. We're ready to proceed.
Gracias, señoría, estamos listos para proceder.
All right. So Miss Luna, I'm going to sentence you to 12 months to serve 45 days. Credit since the date of lockup.
Van a dar crédito desde el
Balance will be suspended as long as you have no contact with Lilia Atalano. On count 3, 12 months to serve 45 days. Balance will be suspended as long as you have no contact with Miss Lilia Atalano. And I don't want to ban people from church, but that's where it happened.
I can, ¿puedo hablar?
Sí.
Can I talk?
¿Puedo hablar? ¿Puedo decir una última cosa?
Say one last thing.
I'm sorry.
Can I say one last thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Señora?
Yo sí necesito que se me haga justicia porque la verdad es que ahora ya tengo miedo de salir hasta las iglesias porque tengo miedo de que ella me vuelva a golpear. Me ha dejado marcada la cara.
I need justice. I'm afraid to go to church because she could beat me up. She scarred my face.
Me ha dejado secuelas en muchas cosas porque también con las amistades me ha dejado pues mal.
And I'm also
entonces físicamente, emocionalmente estoy mal por culpa de esta persona.
And I also have a bad reputation with my friends, and I have I've been affected in emotional and physically because of this person.
Okay, so yeah, Miss Luna will not be able to go back to the location, which is the church.
No va a poder regresar a la iglesia.
Pero en otra iglesia católica se puede.
But I can go to another Catholic church.
Yes. Not that church.
Pero no puedo regresar a esa iglesia.
Pero en esa iglesia puedo regresar un año después.
But can I go back to that church?
Ahí era donde recibía mis sacramentos y nunca, la verdad, nunca fue mi intención espantarla a ella y no la perseguí.
What now?
Because that's where I received this, my sacraments.
Your Honor.
It was not my intention to follow her around.
Well, she can receive her sacraments at any Catholic church. So she can go to another Catholic church, but not that one.
Okay, Your Honor, she was asking if she can return to that church after the balance of her suspended sentence has finished in 12 months from now.
Yes, because I can't control that, but Miss Luna, understand that the people in that church are afraid of you.
Esas personas me conocen y saben que soy una persona bien tranquila y le estoy dando apologías.
Ma'am.
They know that she is not a violent person.
One moment, Your Honor, please.
Well, I mean, there's not much else left. I've already sentenced her.
I will speak with her and explain the sentence to her. Thank you, Your Honor. We can proceed.
All right. All right. Thank you, Miss Atilano.
Justicia pido.
I just want justice.
I'm giving you everything I can.
Yo le estoy dando todo lo que puedo.
Gracias.
Thank you.
All right. Next, we've completed the arraignment calendar. We are on the jail calendar. Next on the jail calendar.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Do we have any other females? Do we have anybody who is taking a let's do the petition so we can get the probation officers back to doing other courtrooms.
No contact with Miss.
Judge, if you want to do, you're talking about the active inmate petitions?
I'm talking about, yeah, we got, I don't care whether we're doing petitions or inmates. We just gotta move the calendar. So whatever's next.
All right. We're ready on Mr. Beck.
Okay. Ms. Hemphill, can you speak with Ms. Atilano? I don't know if you have someone in the office who speaks Spanish, but, oh, I'm sure you do. But just to kind of give her some resources and some guidance on what she can do as a victim of a crime and what may be available to her, because I understand that she has been, she has some stress from this.
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor, we will. We will call her right now, me and Mr. Bolanos.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Your Honor.
Yes.
I'm ready to go with my petitions just to get them out of here so I can go to Judge Garrett.
All right, so the first one we have is I think Ms. Chang has Beck. So Carter, Christopher Blake Carter, come on up.
He's up, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Carter, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes.
All right, you can put your hand down. Mr. Carter, you're before the court on State of Georgia versus Christopher Blake Carter. You have case 2021 CR 07501, case 2023 CR 03745. And you were before this court for the offenses of fleeing from the police, driving on a suspended or revoked license, red light violation, traffic control device violation, giving false name, address, or date of birth, speeding 26 to 30 miles per hour, child restraint violation, and no license violation on the 18th day of March 2024. Sentenced to 12 months on probation. It says that you failed to complete your defensive driving course and you failed to pay your $2,640 in arrears. Mr. Carter, why couldn't you complete the defensive driving course?
I registered for the course. The course is actually tomorrow. And
Mr. Carter, let's talk about the fact that you've been on probation since March. You got 1 month and 30 days remaining. It's a simple course that you can get through the Department of Driver Services, which is what I told you back in March, and it's taken you 11 months to get that done.
I got burned up at my job through an injury, so I wasn't working. I was at home. My probation officer, he's seen everything, and he could confirm that. So I wasn't working because of an injury at work, and I was on bed rest. So that's why it took so long. I didn't work for 5-6 months due to an injury at the job.
I can't confirm that, Your Honor. He has shown proof.
Okay. All right. So when are you signing up for this class?
I already signed up. The class is tomorrow. It'll be completed Thursday.
And he's already shown proof of class enrollment, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Mr. Carter. What's the recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor. So long as he completes the defensive driving course, Your Honor, if you will, can we waive his fine so that way once he finishes the course, I can close out his case?
That's a lot of fine to waive.
How about, because we were thinking about either doing that or community service.
Yeah, but he doesn't have enough time to do that much to community service. He's got a month and some days left.
How about, Ravi, can you give me 1 second, Your Honor?
Uh-huh.
that's
Your Honor.
And I'm just gonna have to do.
Your Honor.
Yes.
So, Mr. Carter is really banking on doing community service. However, I'm thinking of doing jail weekends. But what's everyone works best for you, Your Honor?
All right, I'll order him to do 200 hours of community service. Do as much as you can.
We'll come back. She can still see you, baby.
I'm sure after all of this, Mr. Carter, we're finished driving crazy.
Of course.
I mean, you know, I don't know. Some people it takes them longer.
And this case actually was from 3 years ago. I haven't been in no trouble since then.
All right, so this is what I'm going to do. I have noted that a workplace injury prevented you from completing parts of the probated sentence. You signed up for the driver improvement course and shall complete that. And you're seeking relief from the fine. The fine is going to be converted to 200 hours of community service. You'll complete as many as you can, okay? All right, thank you, sir. I'm going to send this over to Mr. Carmichael right now. Mr. Carmichael, let him know when or if he needs to meet with you again.
Is he understood, Your Honor? Is he able to leave?
Yes, he is. All right, Mr. Carter, be safe. All right, next is Miss Day is a reset.
Do we have that reset date, Your Honor?
Miss Val, were you able to give me a reset date for Miss Kimberly Day, who's a probation revocation?
I can check for a date, Your Honor, if you'll give me one moment.
Yes, ma'am, Miss Powell, thank you. And the next person is Johnson, Telicia, Michelle. Come on up.
He's up, Your Honor.
All right, so Miss Telicia Michelle Johnson, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can put your hand down. You're before the court on State of Georgia versus Telicia Michelle Johnson, 2021 CR 06097. You were before this court on April 8th of 2024 for simple battery. You have 3 months and 20 days remaining. It says you failed to comply with counseling. You have not presented proof of completing an anger management program, and that you're $700 in arrears. So, Miss Johnson, why can't we get the anger management program done?
Actually, Your Honor, if I may, for a second, she actually has, before the revocation, she has shown proof of completing anger management.
Okay, you're gonna have to speak up a little bit for me, Mr. Carmichael.
My apologies. That's it. At the time, she didn't complete anger management, but before her revocation, she showed proof of completing it.
All right, Miss Johnson, are you working currently?
No, ma'am. I actually lost 2 jobs in like the last 6 months due to my son. He's 14. He's been in and out of juvenile.
Okay.
I lost my home as well too.
Are you seeking family counseling for you and your son?
Yes, ma'am. He just got on probation last month.
Okay, but what I'm saying is you and him counseling together as a family.
No, ma'am, not yet. Because I need a job. So.
Okay, but see if the juvenile court will set you all up with a counseling program. Because sometimes they can do those with either low cost, no cost, income sensitive. But I'm gonna just tell you, I have this theory that when the kids are acting up, it's usually something going on with the parents. Right. If the parent is not showing the kid a good behavior or providing a stable home, or some difficulty in the home, when the kids are acting up, you can pretty much trace that back to the parents.
Yes, ma'am, I understand that part. I have 6 kids and he's the last one, so it just
Well,
it's like I ain't show him nothing. Like I don't smoke and drink around him, but
ma'am, you on probation for battery, family violence. You simple battery right now. So let's think about what we're saying before we say it. What I'm saying to you is, even in a situation where if you're a single mom, right? And you got 6 kids, right? Okay, so sometimes it can be as little as, or what we think of as little as, you got to split your attention between 5 other kids, trying to make a way for 5 kids, trying to make a home for 5 kids, and he's the youngest. So he may just feel like he ain't never get no attention. What I tell people a lot of times is, folk will have babies back to back to back, but what they don't understand is that baby needs that attention. Like that first 2-3 years, that they need to feel like they're the only thing that you care about. I hate to say it, but babies are selfish. And when you have babies back to back to back, a lot of times you're so busy trying to make a way that they get lost in the shuffle. And so whatever concerns or issues they have, they turn to different things to get attention. My son was at school, and this kid was picking on him, a kid who he had no trouble with before. And I started thinking about it. And I talked to my son and I said, listen, something obviously has changed in his life that's causing him to seek attention. And even negative attention is getting him the attention. Well, as it turns out, the kid, there was a new guy in the home. His mom had a new baby. So he's having to deal with a new parent figure and a new child who's getting the attention that he was used to getting. And so when you think about that, things turned around real quickly. I mean, like before a month passed, he and my son were back to being friends because I understood what the issue was. And once my son understood, then he could be a little bit more patient with the kid. So what I'm saying to you is, a lot of times we just think kids are supposed to self-regulate, but they need us, and they need us to be stable. So when I say to you, if he's involved in the juvenile program, they have a lot more counseling programs. They have a lot more programs for family stability and family unification, but you got to ask for it. And those judges over there are amazing. I know every one of them, but you got to ask them. And what I'm saying to you is, don't just assume he's a bad kid. You know this kid. But assume that maybe there's some issues that y'all need to talk about that he doesn't feel comfortable telling you. And so he's turning to get your attention in other ways. You see what I'm saying? So you got to think about how you're living and how you're splitting your time and your attention, and then think about what he's seeing. You may not smoke or drink around him, but what else is he missing out on?
I sure am good.
Just saying, think about it, talk to him and tell him, look, mama ain't perfect, but let's sit down and figure out why you're seeking attention in these negative ways. Okay? All right. So I'm going to, Mr. Carmichael, she's completed the anger management. What is your recommendation, sir?
Give me 1 second. So. Your Honor, you ready?
Yes.
All right. So, given her fine and that she's currently unemployed at the moment, I was wondering if you'd be able to waive the fines. If not, do 20 hours of community service. She still has 3 months remaining, and I believe she can complete it within that time period.
I'm gonna waive the fines and fees, and this is why. I want you to focus on your son. Any counseling that you do with your son, that will be equivalent to you paying the fines and fees. So if you get into counseling with your son and you tell Mr. Carmichael, then I'll waive the fines and fees. All right? So call them or seek them out. Don't wait for the next appointment with juvenile court, but call and ask if you can get into a counseling program or a family unification program, because they got all kinds of stuff over at juvenile court. They have been very proactive in completing programs or setting up programs, things that we don't have, okay?
They
All
they gave me some opportunities. I had just turned it down due to the fact of my living situation. But I was gonna do counseling. I just wasn't gonna do it right now.
Okay, well, I need you to do it right now. Okay, so I'm gonna put in here that family counseling through the juvenile court programs shall count towards community service.
Okay.
Because we don't have long with these kids. We got a short amount of time. We have them, and before we know it, they're growing. And so we don't have a lot of time to get them on the right path. And if you don't want to see your son coming through those doors in front of me, then you gotta take those reins now. Okay?
Ma'am.
All right. So yeah, you can't turn that down. I know your living situation may not be what you want it to be, but that's paramount. All right. Okay, go get that done, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you.
Judge, what was the name of the defendant looking for a reset date?
Kimberly Day.
Kimberly Day, and this is the probation calendar. There's a date of January 7th, 2025 that should work.
Thank you, Ms. Powell. I think that's good.
Okay.
You said January.
Ms. Powell.
Yeah, January 7th.
Got it down. Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Powell.
All right. I'm sending this over to you. Let me just finish it up.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. All right. I sent that over. All right, and Mr. Carmichael, you had another one for me. You have
St. Omar.
St. Omer.
Yeah. She's present.
All right, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true. Yes. All right, you can put your hand down. I'm gonna need you to speak up for me. This is State of Georgia versus Shaima Carmelita St. Omer, 2022 CR 01443 for petition for revocation of probation. You're before the court on criminal trespass on the 12th day of February 2024. You were sentenced to 12 months probation. You have 2 months and 26 days remaining. You have failed to provide proof of completing 40 hours of community service. You failed to provide proof of completing an anger management course, and you failed to pay your currently $900 in arrears. Ms. St. Omer, what's going on, ma'am? You blinging around the neck and you got your nails did, but we can't get no money and we can't get no programs. What's going on?
Actually, Your Honor, she has completed community, at the time she has not, but before the revocation, she has completed the 40 hours and she's completed anger management. Payment's the only thing we haven't had a chance to do.
All right, what's about the payment, ma'am?
I wasn't working, I just started back working.
Where you working?
Next gen.
I'm sorry?
Next gen.
What's next gen?
Injury clinic. Injury clinic.
I still don't know what you're saying.
Injury clinic.
Translate that for me, Mr. Carmichael.
Can you hear me okay, Your Honor?
Yeah.
Saying injury clinic.
I thought that's what she said. Okay.
I need to Google that one, Your Honor.
But she just said it so fast. I thought I talked fast. All right. So, Miss St. Omer, we're gonna get some money now that we're working.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. So you what, 2 months and 26 days?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'm gonna return you to probation. You continue to pay the fines and fees.
Okay.
He agrees with that, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, ma'am. You're free to go at this time. Don't spend so much on Christmas that you put your financial future in jeopardy.
Okay.
These kids only gonna play with this stuff one day. All right, you're free to go. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks so much.
Yes, sir, ma'am.
All right, did you have anything else, Mr. Carmichael?
Just one more, Your Honor, and that's
Oh, Williams, Gerard Clifton Williams.
yes, Your Honor, and that should be the last one. And then I am representing one for Austin.
Okay, I'll get Mr. Austin too. I saw it. Mr. Williams, you're before the court on State of Georgia versus Gerard Clifton Williams. Raise your right hand for me. You solemnly do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true? I'm sorry? All right, you can put your hand down. You're before the court on Gerard Clifton Williams, 2021 CR 06977. You were before this court for DUI, alcohol less safe, simple battery, family violence, and simple battery. On the 15th day of April 2024, you were sentenced to 36 months on probation. You have 29 months and 2 days remaining. It says you failed to report on July 11th, August 29th, October 10th, and November 21st. You last reported on October 24th. You failed to provide proof of completing a clinical evaluation. You failed to provide proof of completing an anger management program. You failed to provide proof of completing a certified family violence intervention program. You failed to provide proof of attending one AA meeting per week, and you failed to pay your currently $1,820 in arrears. Mr. Williams, why?
Well, actually, with the family violence, the family violence I'm enrolled in now. The anger management, it was with that was just no employment at the time.
You're gonna have to speak up for me. Something's going on with the volume.
Oh, okay. I lean into it. No, I was saying with the classes, earlier this year, January, my foot was broke, and I remained with a broken foot in July.
Okay, that's not helping. Just speak up for me. Just stand up straight and speak up loud. All right? And come closer.
Yeah,
you can come close to the table as you need to. All right, go ahead.
You hear me now?
Yes, that's much better.
Yeah, I was saying that beginning of this year, I wasn't employed. I had broke my foot from
It's okay. It's okay.
From January to July. By the time I came,
Your foot took from January to July to heal?
Yeah, I was out for 7 months. I still go through therapy now. It was broken like 5 different places. It was a work-related injury. I got ran over by a car. But once I went to court, I had started back working around about that time. Once I came to seeing you, but due to the situation with the victim, I had to quit that job because I couldn't be around them. So it was ordered for me to leave that place of employment. But now I've gained for employment, and I can take care of those obligations now. As far as the money is concerned, I didn't have any money, but I asked for community service to try to handle that, try to make up for it. But now I got a job.
Well, what about the AA meetings per week? You didn't do any of those either.
Yeah,
that don't have nothing to do with your foot because they have them virtually too.
Right, and I just found the virtual one that I can do. I didn't know they do virtual. I thought they had sit-ins. I've never been to one.
Did you ask?
I did, and he told me, so I found one to do now. I did.
Oh Lord, Mr. Williams, let me just tell you something, sir. you're gonna be with me for the next 29 months. This is your second revocation hearing. I don't know why we can't get something done, but obviously you're not taking me seriously. Now, I feel like if somebody misses Christmas and eats jail food for Christmas, they might start paying attention to what I got to say, because I don't understand why we're having a second hearing. You knew what the situation was when you came for the first hearing.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm not sure why I should have any compassion for you when you are probably the longest serving probationer I got. I maybe only have one other person who has as much time with me as you do. So we need to get clear on the beginning of our relationship right now.
I promise I take full responsibility.
Well, I don't care about you taking responsibility. Who else is going to take responsibility? You're the one who did it or didn't do it. What I'm saying is, I don't think you take me seriously because we've already had this discussion.
I do.
And if nothing else, you should be able to show me about 10 weeks of AA meetings. When did you first start going to AA meetings?
That's what I'm saying. I'm starter. I got one tonight. I got one I got to do tonight.
This the first one?
Yes, ma'am. Like I did. I started.
Mr. Williams. No. No. Because even with a broke foot, you've been going somewhere.
No, I promise. I was out. And then, like I said, once I got in front of you in the beginning with this case, where I was working at was I was working for the victim's place of an automotive shop. And I had to stay away, so I had to quit that job. Now I got gainful employment. I just got out of my 30-day probation period with this job. And I promise I'll take you serious. I can't afford it.
Well, actually, yeah, this because you've been going to work, but you couldn't go to AA.
It's just been a lot. I just buried the sister and I just buried the brother.
Sir, I apologize that the life is not treating you well. I get it, but everybody got something. Number one. Number two, you were driving drunk and could have caused the same situation for somebody else. And so my level of compassion for you is waning because we've already had, this is your second hearing. I'm not inclined to keep wasting my time with you, Mr. Williams.
I understand.
What's the recommendation, Mr. Carmichael?
Probation recommends return to probation and to be enrolled and to complete the evaluation and anger management enrollment by no later than February the 28th.
No, that's too long. That's too many months to waste. Mr. Williams is wasting time. He's already completed his 30 days probation at his job. He'll be enrolled in a family violence intervention program by December 31st.
Okay. I can do that.
And anger management by December 31st.
I can do that.
Okay.
I can do that.
And we'll see if he comes back here. And if no, in fact, AA meetings, 2 a week.
Okay.
Mr. Williams, I'm not playing. If I see you again on a revocation hearing, you're going to do some significant time behind the jail. You got me?
Yes, ma'am.
This is a gift to you. Consider this your Christmas gift that I don't open the door and send you back there today.
Thank you.
Because you haven't been doing what you're supposed to do. Now, if I don't impress upon you that I need you to do what I'm saying to do, if we're not clear that if you miss probation reports, because you could limp everywhere else, you made it to find a job and you did 30 days on a job, but you couldn't do anything I asked you to do. I can make you lose that job. We clear? Okay, so like I said, I'm going to return you to probation because Mr. Carmichael seems to want to work with you. You're going to enroll in an anger management and a family violence intervention program by December 31st. And you'll take 2 AA meetings per week. And let me just tell you something, Ms. Williams. Don't do what people do and they spend too much money on Christmas. If you Christmas got to be a little lean this year, because many people, I grew up where you got that stocking with the oranges and the nuts and the candy and the peppermint in it. See, y'all don't understand, but I'm that old. So if Christmas got to be a little lean this year because you got obligations to the court, that would be better than you messing up and losing this job because you're sitting in the jail. Are we clear? Okay, that's what I thought. All right, so now that we understand each other, because I think before we had a miscommunication, you thought I was somebody to play with, but obviously I'm not. But you know, time will tell. So I'm going to return you to probation with all of the conditions, plus you're going to enroll in these programs by December 31st, February. Oh my gosh. Oh no. And then you're going to do 2 AA meetings per week. I don't care if one is virtual. I don't care if both are virtual, but you're going to get that done. We clear? All right. Thank you so much. All right, and also remember, Mr. Williams, in this time of celebration, that you are not to have any alcohol or illicit drugs during the course of your probation. If you were to have alcohol or drugs during your probation, then you would definitely, most definitely come back and see me. Do you understand? All right. Mr. Carmichael, if you have a recommendation for him for when he needs to see you again, go ahead and give that to him.
I've already informed him, Your Honor.
All right. All right, Mr. Williams, consider this your Christmas present, but please don't mess up again because I can be the Scrooge 12 months out of the year. We clear? All right. Thank you so much, sir.
And Your Honor, if you may, I know I have one case for Mr. Austin. However, can I allow Mr. Lynch and them to proceed with their cases so I can go to Judge Garrett for a second?
Yeah, yes, you may. Thank you.
Your Honor, I'll be back. Thank you, Mr.
You can back. Might as well do back. Miss Chang is still on, right? Yes.
Okay, who's this?
This is Mr. Beck, Judge. We're submitting appointment orders for him, but he's a petitioner from Miss Chang has a petition to revoke his probation, which I've seen.
One second, Mr. Beck. Mr. Beck, raise your right hands for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
I do.
All right. One second. All right, sorry about that. Okay, Mr. Beck, you're before the court on State of Georgia versus Dexter Jamal Beck, 2023 CR 07318, and 2021 CR 00449. You were before this court for battery family violence, simple battery family violence, and simple battery family violence on the 19th day of February 2024. You were sentenced to 24 months on probation. You have 1 month and 15 days remaining on the first case, 2023 CR 07318, and 12 months on the consecutive case, 2021 CR 00449. This is your second hearing, and the sentence was not told. Says you failed to avoid injurious and vicious habits. You tested positive for the metabolites of alcohol. You failed to comply with counseling. So you failed to do the family violence intervention program. You failed to attend NA or AA. You failed to complete risk reduction program. You failed to complete community service, and you failed to pay your currently $2,880 in arrears. Wow, sir. You have wasted 11 months and done nothing. So tell me what's going on. Why?
Last time I came to see you, I had told you I wasn't working. I was out of work. So all the things that I really have to pay for, I didn't have the money to do. And like I was just telling my attorney here that I just recently received a job like back in November.
AA is free, and staying off, not drinking is free.
Like I said, everything that I have to pay for, I haven't attended to because I just didn't have the money to do it. I've been doing my
Okay, how many times have you gone to AA?
I don't have my log. I've been doing.
You just don't have what?
I don't have my log, so I can't really give you an exact number, but I've been doing my AA meetings like once a week as told to me to do so. So I've been doing my AA meetings.
Judge, not to interrupt, but I do note that he has been reporting to probation, and I was curious as to why he was assigned to do a risk reduction course when there's no DUI attached to his plea. I understand sometimes some alcohol conditions may be put on there if that's part of the allegation that alcohol was involved. But I just didn't see why a risk reduction course would be part of it, considering there's no charges dealing with driving. But
okay, well,
put that aside, Judge.
Even if we ignored all of that, Mr. Beck has done bupkis, and this is his second hearing, and he tested positive for alcohol. How old are you, Mr. Beck?
28.
Mr. Beck, you're 28 years old. Is this gonna be your life?
No,
Red jumpsuit.
No, ma'am.
It's starting to be, Mr. Beck. I got 2 cases in front of me. You basically have done nothing on probation. This is your second hearing. So I feel like you're okay with this.
I'm not okay with it. Like I always been trying to do my best with doing what's been asked of me to do.
No, sir. See, just trying to do your best. You're 28 years old. You're a grown man. If you were trying to do your best, then we wouldn't be having this conversation. So much more would be done.
I understand what you're saying, but if it's hard for me to find a job, what more do you want me to do about the classes that I have to
What
take?
you looking for, Mr. Beck? What kind of job we talking about?
Any job that'll accept me to come and work for them. So,
Mr. Beck, you obviously don't know about the legal hustle. Mr. Beck, do you know I can sew? I can braid. I can lay concrete if I have to. I can do lawn work. I have driven a backhoe. I have driven a dump truck. I have graded a road using said backhoe. All of this is self-taught. I have put shingles on a roof. All of this. And I'm not no big girl. I'm like 5'2". So I have learned all of these things. if I can figure out how to, I put a gas line in a hedge trimmer one time because I needed a new gas line to make the hedge trimmer work. I figured it out. So, Mr. Beck, if I could figure out how to do all of these things, and I got a law degree, you can figure out how to do some jobs. You can do some jobs. You don't have to get a job where somebody's hiring you. They need people to do all kinds of stuff. There's people doing roofing work, plumbing work. Even if you don't know how to do it, they need somebody to haul away scrap. Okay, can I come by and pick up the scrap and move that out of the way for you? There's things you can do. Mr. Beck, a little ingenuity. I'm gonna need folk in your age group to stop acting like y'all are helpless. Y'all been babied. Y'all have been babied. I'm gonna just tell you, I'm from that old school, the one where your mamas ain't doing for you. They gonna push you out of the nest and make you figure out how to do stuff. Find something. All these jobs you're looking for, okay, then figure out how to earn $1. Offer to do some work for somebody. Yo, man, can I help you pick up this concrete or lay concrete or pick up this plywood or clean up this work site so I can make $1? I'm just tired of y'all 20-somethings coming before me and y'all just don't do nothing. And then in all of this, knowing what you have, then you decide to go drink.
I don't even drink, Your Honor. The only reason why that
Well, what happened? Did somebody pour some down? You had, oh, wait, let me get. Did you have vodka pasta or rum cake?
Neither. I was just sick and I just went for what I knew is taking simple medicine, and that's really what.
No, sir. No. I'm not buying the medicine, the NyQuil. I'm not.
All right. That's the only excuse I have because I really don't even drink like that. As he was just trying to figure out as to why I have to take DUI classes with no record of me doing any alcohol or drugs.
Okay. I see Mr. Lynch has given you an idea about how to talk to me about your case. Okay, even if we skip the DUI program, you ain't done nothing else.
Judge,
I'm gonna need Ms. Chang, what's your recommendation?
Your Honor, probation recommends that 120 days be revoked and revoke the first offender status on the consecutive case. Close the case.
Oh, that sounded good to me.
Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
I would just point out that he was given a 24-month sentence. So he has a whole nother year in which he can prove to this.
No. So, Mr. Lynch, this is the thing that I don't like people saying. Okay, I'm gonna waste the whole first year. So I got the second year to do right. No, if you wanted to show me that you want to be done, then do it all in the first year. And then the second year, I say, hey, we don't need to do this the second year because he did everything. He showed me that he really wanted to be off probation. He showed me that that this had an effect on him. So no, I'm not doing, I'm gonna take, will you say 180 days, Ms. Chang?
120, Your Honor.
It sounded like you said 180 because that's what I'm hearing.
Judge, and again, if I could just point out that while I understand, Your Honor, that he needs to get the conditions done in the first year, that would be the right way to do it. I think Mr. Beck did indicate that he does actually have a job now, working at.
I didn't hear that. All I heard was it was hard for me to get a job and I couldn't do anything.
And that's why I want to make sure he expressed it.
I just expressed that I said.
Hold on, you're interrupting me. I'm trying to speak. I'm trying to help out. He does have a job currently. He's working at Amazon. He has made some small payments toward probation. He has been reporting. He does have 3 children that he helps support, ages 5, 3, and 2. And what I was going to say about the additional term of probation is that, Judge, if you were to release him back to probation to give him another chance to show that he's willing to actually make some progress, if he does not, you still have well more than 180 days to work with if he comes up for another violation, Judge.
But this is the second hearing, Mr. Lynch. I'm just tired of second hearings. I'm tired of people who play me the first time and then come back and tell me about all the children they supporting. If he wasn't able to support himself and do anything, he ain't supporting them kids. Their grandparents are. Whoever the mama is living with her mama, and they supporting these kids. Where your kids living, Mr. Beck?
They live with my baby mother, and they have their own apartment. She has her own place.
And she's probably on assisted living if she's not working and sufficiently to support them. But you're not supporting them. So I'm this whole thing of, well, I'm supporting my kids, and oh, please.
He's not claiming to be the sole provider.
No, I hope the Lord he is not. I mean, I did put him under oath at the beginning of this.
Right.
Mr. Beck, I'm gonna teach you that you don't need to be trifling anymore. I just really, you're gonna need to start standing up and being a man. That 120 days is sounding real good. Real good. Mr. Beck is gonna get this 120 days because this is your second hearing. I'm just so done with you. Yeah, let's get this 120 days, and then after that, we'll suspend as long as there's no violations. We'll suspend the remainder of the term. But that means that if you mess up, then you'll come back to me, and I still have 12 months or whatever left to play with. So yeah, 120 days will be revoked. Mr. And your word, sir. Everybody, when it gets hot, they always want to throw their kids in here. Supporting my kids. If you were supporting your, you wouldn't have time to mess up like this. I'm sorry, no. Tired of people using these kids as an excuse, and they're not even really helping like that.
Well, Judge, that was as well as his I'm gonna be hot. You muted if you thought you were.
I
was just letting Mr. Austin know he was not muted because I just heard him make a comment.
The consecutive cases of first offender status.
Okay. I'm gonna remove that.
Yes, John.
We can do Brown next. And well, hold on, let me see the judge. Judge, did you want to do Mr. Hassan next? I think that's Mr. Austin's case.
I want to do whatever y'all got ready. So as long as we're moving cases.
All right. We can do Mr. Hassan. Hassan? Yeah, bring Mr. Hassan. Yeah. Yes, I suppose we do. I mean, we just closed it, but I guess we still need one.
What y'all got?
Judge, this is Mr. Padet Hassan. He's on the probation calendar. He is
all right. Go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Judge, were you talking to me? Yeah. He's going to stipulate to the violation, which was testing positive for alcohol. I know this initially was Mr. Austin's case. I did talk to Mr. Carmichael about it, but essentially we were going to accept the recommendation from the state if it's acceptable to the court. And And I believe that the new recommendation was to be released to probation on credit for time served, to test on every meeting date. And they had asked for 2 AA meetings per week. But I had discussed with Mr. Carmichael that if he could potentially just do 1 AA meeting, because he does work full time as a welder at LTI, Low Temp Industries. And so we were hoping that Mr. Carmichael, we were hoping that the court would accept 1 AA meeting per week, as long as he continues to test negative for alcohol.
All right, raise your right hand for me, Mr. Padet Hassan. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes, Your Honor.
You can put your hand down. So 2021 CR 06896, Mr. State of Georgia versus Padet Hassan. You were before this court for DUI less safe, failure to yield the right of way when turning left on the 4th day of November 2024. You have 10 months and 17 days remaining. Your sentence was not told, but you did test positive on November 15th of 2024 for alcohol. You're represented by Mr. Owen Lynch with the law firm of Lister Holton Dennis. What's your recommendation, Mr. Austin?
Your Honor, the recommendation is credit for time served, return back to probation under the original conditions with the special added condition of mandatory drug testing every report and attend 2 AA or NA meetings per week.
Now, Mr. Lynch, if he has time to drink and test positive for alcohol, he has time to go to a meeting.
And I certainly understand that, Judge, and what I hear is that you're going to require the 2 AA meetings, and if I'm hearing you correctly, I don't need to say much else on it.
No, yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Mr. Sir, how long we gonna do this? Like, you know that you're in trouble for an alcohol-related offense, and then you drink, thinking that I'm not gonna figure it out. But you get tested often enough to where if you don't get it this time, it's gonna get you the next time. So, sir, go to the AA meetings. Get your life together. Why would you risk taking a drink and end up in an orange jumpsuit when, if you feel like you need to take a drink, go to a meeting?
Yes, Your Honor, I understand. But I would like to say something. This happened almost 3.5 years ago. So I'm dealing with something that happened in the past. I'm not the same person that I was in the past.
I get that, but the same person then wouldn't have drunk while had an alcoholic drink while they're on probation, because you would have been okay with it. If what caused you to have a DUI in the past is over and done with, then your mind should have told you, yeah, I'm gonna need to not drink for these 12 months. I got this, and then I'm gonna be done with this because this is old. But if you can't resist a drink, knowing that you might go to jail and risk your livelihood, then that tells me that your situation is current. It's not past. What's past is prologue, as the writers say. And that means what's in the past is going to tell what happens in your future. So you having a DUI in the past, but you not being able to not drink for the period of time that I told you not to drink, tells me that there's an issue. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
And now we're coming up on the holidays, and there's going to be free flowing alcohol everywhere you go. And a lot of people going, man, this is the time to celebrate. That judge ain't going to figure it out. Please don't play me like that. Okay? You're going to be tested at each report. So if somebody's willing to risk your life like that, that's not your friend.
Yes, Your Honor. I completely understand.
I hope so. All right. So I'm going to return you to probation. You're going to test at each report. You'll attend 2 AA or NA meetings per week and show proof.
Your Honor.
Yes.
Can I please let Mr. Hassan know he needs to report on Friday, December 20th?
Yes.
Mr. Hassan, please report to probation on Friday, December 20th by 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock Friday. Got it, December 20th.
Correct. Thank you.
All right. Who's next? I have that we've done Beck. We are waiting on Ryan. I'm sorry, Brown. Ryan Brown. And Crawford. We're waiting on Crawford.
Ready on both those, Judge.
Okay, bring them on.
Brown and then Crawford afterwards.
All right, and that should conclude, I guess.
I think.
Did we have somebody else?
No, I think you're correct, Judge. I'm just looking over it. Yeah, I believe that as long as we got all Mr. Carmichael's cases done.
Yeah, and then Mr. Austin's case was the last petition, I think.
Yeah, because he was going to come back for that one, I think, but then Mr. Austin came.
Right.
That'll conclude this calendar, but you have a 1 o'clock.
I do. I remember. Thank you.
Yes, she's with Hassan. Yeah.
All right, raise your right hand for me, sir. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Mm-hmm.
All right, you can put your hand down, sir. And this is Mr. Who's this?
This is Mr. Ryan Brown, Judge, 2024 CR 09987.
All right, so Mr. Brown, you're before the court, Ryan DeJody Brown, for theft by shoplifting. You're represented by the law firm of Lister Holton Dennis. Mr. Owen Lynch is with you. Mr. Lynch, what does your client plead to the offenses before the court?
Judge, he pleads guilty, just count one, the only count, theft by shoplifting.
All right, Mr. Brown, by entering a plea of guilty, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Did you understand all of these things, sir? All right. Factual basis and recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. On or about April 22nd of 2024, Officer J. Knox was dispatched to 4866 Jonesboro Road, Forest Park, Georgia 30297, Clayton County, in regards to a theft. Upon his arrival, he made contact with the complainant, Melanie Hornsby, who stated that she observed 3 males coming to the incident location, which is also known as the Spot liquor store. Looking around, she then stated that she watched video footage and observed one of the males grab a Hennessy bottle valued at $40, which is the defendant standing before you, grab the bottle valued at $40, walk over to the cooler and put the bottle into his pants. She then stated that the defendant left the store, got into a 4-door silver BMW and left in an unknown direction. Officer Knox did observe camera footage of the males. They were inside the aisle where the Hennessy bottles were located. He did observe that they did grab one of the Hennessy bottles. He also observed the defendant wearing a gray sweater, gray pants, black shoes, and a hat standing by the coolers and placing something in his pants. And he did observe the defendant walk out of the store as well and get into a BMW and drive away in an unknown location. At that time, Your Honor, a warrant was issued for the defendant's arrest. Your Honor, the state's offer is 12 months probation, a fine of $200. The defendant is to complete the theft prevention course, 40 hours of community service, and he is to stay away and not return to the incident location, which is 4866 Jonesboro Road, Forest Park, Georgia 30297, also known as the one second, just lost the name of the store.
Spot.
Yes, the Spot Liquor Store.
All right, Mr. Lynch.
Judge, I am gonna ask the court to accept the recommendation from the state, but I did want to note that Mr. Brown is currently held here on this case and has a holdout of Fulton County, which he thought was gonna be lifted, but it has not been. So we just ask that he be ordered to report to probation, I guess, within 48 hours of being released from custody of any, jurisdiction that has him in custody. We had discussed other options, but he believes he'll be out of custody in a reasonable amount of time where he can complete this. So,
How old are you, Mr. Brown?
26.
Mr. Brown, you're doing too much. First of all, if you can't afford Henny, you don't drink Henny. So stealing Henny and then getting into a BMW, I don't know what, it's not, your lifestyle is not consistent. It's not consistent. If you're driving a BMW and you can afford to drive a BMW, then you should be able to afford Henny. If you can't afford Henny, you don't drink Henny. We clear? You're doing too much because Mr. Lynch has indicated that our jurisdiction is not the only jurisdiction in which you have a pending case. Sir, get your life together. You're 23 years old. Do you want to be coming back in an orange or a red jumpsuit when you're 30, 40, 50? Because that's where you headed. Because a theft by shoplifting is called a crime of moral turpitude. It means your morals ain't right. And a crime of moral turpitude will help you to stay on a bad path because nobody's going to want to hire you. If they can't trust you because you stealing Henny, they won't hire you. If you can't get hired, then the only paths left to you are homelessness or bad paths. We clear? I don't know what it is where these teenagers and 20-somethings think that, oh, this doesn't count. This as they used to say in school, this goes on your permanent record. You're an adult now. Nobody's going to hold your hand. Nobody's going to feel sorry for you. Your mama ain't able to do anything. She might put up bond, but beyond that, this ain't on her. You need to start acting like a grown adult. We clear?
Yes, ma'am.
You have children?
Yes, ma'am.
Huh?
Yes, ma'am.
How many you got?
2.
Don't have any more because you're not even old enough to act like a parent. You out here stealing liquor when you got kids at home that somebody's taking care of, that you're obviously not taking care of because you're so busy going from jurisdiction to jurisdiction, getting cases, catching cases, as they say. Let me tell you something, sir. Your kids didn't ask to be here. They deserve 2 parents who are going to actually be parents, not baby daddies, a dad, somebody who's going to be there when they're sick, somebody who's going to know their teachers, who's going to know what their school breaks are, who's going to arrange extracurricular activities for them, somebody who's going to be the parent who's going to be there on the sidelines when they play football or basketball. That's what kids deserve. They don't just deserve somebody dropping by with some Pampers every now and again. We clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So at 23 years old, you've already decided to be an adult and a parent. So act like one. Stop all this foolishness going from jurisdiction to jurisdiction, making bad decisions, and start making the decisions that mean your kids are going to grow up with a good life. Because right now, you're not going to see them for Christmas. Because as soon as I finish with you, somebody else is going to come get you. And Fulton County moves really slowly. You might not see them until the new year. What I'm telling you is stop wasting your life on foolishness. Because that same bottle of Henny, you could have done way without that, sir, thinking you slick. We clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, whatever time you spend between Clayton County, Fulton County, or whatever other jurisdiction you in, I'm going to need you to start thinking through some things. I'm going to need you to start thinking about how you're going to earn legitimate money to take care of those kids you've made. I'm going to need you also consider the fact that condoms are cheaper than child support or child care. And if you don't want to pay child support or be a father, then you might want to buy a supply of condoms for yourself for Christmas, okay? And use them. We clear? And if nobody else has spoken to you, I apologize on behalf of every adult who let you get to this point and be this irresponsible. We clear? All right. So with that being said, I'm going to accept your plea. I'll sentence you to 12 months probation, a fine in the amount of $200. It's going to be $298 with the surcharges. You're going to take a theft prevention course and do 40 hours of community service. You're not to go back to 4866 Jonesboro Road, Forest Park, Georgia, Clayton County, the Spot Liquor Store. Excuse me. And you'll turn yourself in within 24 hours of getting out of jail from the wherever you going after you leave me. 24 hours. We clear? If I find out that more than 24 hours, if 26 hours goes by before you show up at the Clayton County Probation Office, then you'll be coming back to me and we'll have a different conversation, okay? Don't spend the rest of your life being trifling. Be a man. Man up, grow up, raise those kids like a father, not a baby daddy. Because you can't do it in an orange jumpsuit. You got me? No. All right, and don't have any more right now. We're clear? Buy yourself some condoms. Okay. All right, you can go back with the sheriff's office.
Crawford, man.
All right, last case.
Yes, Judge, it's Mr. Terry Crawford.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so bad.
My birthday lunch.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Mr. Dean's DUI flooding obstruction reckless case, they have transferred.
Well, that's good enough.
All right, Mr. Crawford, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true. All right, you can put your hand down. You're before the court on State of Georgia versus Carrie Devon Crawford, 2024 CR 10071 for simple battery and criminal trespass. Mr. What is your client plea to the, Mr. Lynch, what is your client plea to the offenses before the court?
Guilty, Judge.
By entering a plea of guilty to counts 2 and 3, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And sir, if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things, sir?
Yes.
All right, factual basis recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. On or about December 8th of 2024, Officer A. Draper did respond to 1804 B18 Summerwind Drive, Jonesboro, Clayton County, Georgia, in reference to a domestic disturbance. Pursuant to his investigation, it was determined that the defendant did commit the act of simple battery, when he intentionally slapped his sister, Tempest, T-E-M-P-I-E-S-T Crawford, on the left side of her face. The defendant also committed the act of criminal trespass, family violence, when he intentionally and without permission damaged the property, specifically a pottery vase, of his cousin, Vadarian, V as in Victor, Adadrian Crawford, and that vase was valued under $500. There were multiple witnesses who did confirm that they saw the defendant commit both acts. Your Honor, at this time, the state's offer for count one is going to be 12 months to serve, 30 days. Balance suspended. The defendant can get credit since the day of lockup, as he does have additional time to serve on this offer. And no contact with the victims, and to stay away from the incident location. Count two, 12 months to serve, 30 days. Balance suspended. The defendant can't get credit since the day of lockup. Again, no contact with the victims, and to stay away and do not return. Again, the victims are Tempest, Tempiest Crawford, and Vadarian, Vadadrian Crawford, and to stay away from the incident location, which is one 1804 apartment B as in boy 18 Summer Wind, all one word, Drive, Jonesboro, Georgia 30236.
All right, Mr. Lynch, anything?
Judge, I would ask the court to accept the recommendation. I did speak to the alleged victim in this case, at least one of the alleged victims, Ms. Crawford. And, you know, they gave him a place to stay. This incident started when he was frustrated with not being able to get an appointment to get back on medication. My client does suffer from several mental health conditions. From speaking to him, he has gotten assistance from an organization called GROW. And so I'm hoping he can reinitiate that contact. My understanding, and I'm not doubting anything, my understanding is that they just didn't want him back at the residence for right now, because with his condition not being managed, it's not safe for the children that are at that residence. I didn't get the impression that they didn't want to have contact, but I guess that's what the victim advocate's notes indicated, Judge. But I would ask that you give him the sentence recommended. I mean, I would ask for no bond harassing contact, but I guess there's nothing to support that condition or that contention. But at least if the court would be open to amending it if they indicated they did want contact somehow.
Okay, well, since there tend to be children in the home, from what you said, let's go with no contact at this time. On counts 2 and 3, Mr. Crawford, I'm going to sentence you to 12 months to serve 30 days credit since the date of lockup. Balance will be suspended as long as you have no contact with Vadarian Crawford and Tempest Crawford, and you do not go back to the incident location as reported in the record. Those counts will run concurrent, and you are free to go back to the sheriff's office now. All right, that should conclude today's calendar, except we have a 1 o'clock motion to revoke. So are we ready on that?
I don't believe the inmate, Mr. Dean, is up.
I'm sorry.
Judge, we're not quite ready, but the inmate is up. We can get ready very shortly. In fact, if you would put me in, wouldn't mind putting me and Ms. Hagler in a breakout room.
Y'all are already in breakout room number 1. You can just go back in.
Okay, and I'll just see if we can, perhaps, so there's another option here.
Okay, well, I will be here. All right, thank you.
Like that?
No. It's not too bad.
If they don't, then the bond get it. Well, I'll pass it. Yeah, you can play it that way. You don't totally right, but it's we are ready to go forward on the motion for the whoever's here.
The courtroom or?
Good afternoon. This is the motion to revoke hearing at 1 p.m. for Judge Tammy Long Hayward, State Court of Clayton County. This is State of Georgia versus Ricky Lee Dean Jr. Case 2023 CR 10659. Are the parties ready?
Yes, Your Honor, the state is ready to proceed forward.
All right. Mr. Lynch, you ready? Or Mr. Taylor, I'm sorry. Who's ready?
Not this one, but I'm here in the background.
Okay, for some reason, I don't know what's going on today in the courtroom because usually I can hear you all pretty well, but you all are going to have to speak up because the volume is not up near the computer. All right, so Mr. Dean, you're represented by the law firm of Lister Holt and Dennis. The attorneys are going to represent you in this case. You do not have to give any evidence or testimony in this case unless you choose to waive your right to remain silent. In that case, your attorneys will speak with you, and then the court will verify that you do wish to waive your right to remain silent and offer testimony. All right, the state may begin with their first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Before I call my first witness, do I have sharing permissions?
Yes.
Okay. 1 second, Your Honor. And Your Honor, at this time, I would like to introduce into evidence State's Exhibit 1, which is the order for bond pertaining to Dean Ricky Lee Jr.
All right,
Your Honor.
And I do see that checked on the bond order is the defendant must not violate any laws while on bond, and also a stay away for Deshaun Williams and Cheryl Witcher. This was, can you raise it up a little bit?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, this was signed by Judge Charity Bridgewater of the Magistrate Court. All right, any objections to that exhibit from the defense?
Your Honor, I would point out that the state did not provide that in their motion. They referred to an Exhibit A and an Exhibit B. This being, I assume, Exhibit A, but it was not included with their documents prior to, this is the first time I'm seeing this document, Your Honor.
Okay.
So, 1st of August, 2022. And is there a seal on this document?
You can move it back up to the top.
I'd take note that this doesn't appear to be filed with the clerk as an official document as well. I don't see any seal showing that it's been received by the clerk's office, so I would object to this being admitted as that.
All right, Ms. Hagler, do you have a stamp file copy?
This is what was provided to me. Let me send the email really quick to one person to see if they have a copy of the stamp. 1 second.
You might want to stop sharing.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. Okay, I just sent that email, Your Honor. we can. We can go ahead and proceed, and then I'll just make sure I have it before the end of the hearing. I don't want to waste the court's, hold the court any longer, but I can just.
I would object to that. We're ready to proceed. This is the state's motion. They're the ones that asked to calendar this. I would point out that one, without a clerk's seal, we don't show that it's been filed with the court. So my client didn't have notice of this condition. Secondly, on the copy that the state provided to the court just now as Exhibit A, you will note that it does not have my client's signature. So there's no acknowledgement or even proof that he was aware of any conditions of this bond, that this was attempting to violate or revoke his bond based on conditions that my client didn't have notice of.
And we would just argue that the defendant would have had notice if he was in court on that day, which I'm sure he was at the bond hearing, he would have had notice of all those conditions, Your Honor.
I wouldn't say, I mean, Ms. Hagler, the state is actually saying that she's sure that he was, but if she was not present in the hearing, then she can't testify or make that statement to an absolute certainty.
So are you saying your client was not in the hearing for his first appearance?
Well, the state it's the state's burden to prove it. The state brought the motion. I'm gonna need at least at a minimum to go forward a stamp file copy. I'll give you 10 minutes.
Okay, Your Honor, 1 second.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
We're going to step back to the desk for a moment, so you may not see me on the screen. Thank you, Your Honor. I believe we've had 10 minutes. Is the state ready to proceed or is the court ready to proceed?
Ms. Hagler?
Yes, Your Honor. 1 second, Your Honor. The person I emailed is just getting back from lunch, so they are checking right now.
Your Honor.
You can't just go online and get it, because I got access to e-filing.
Your Honor, I'll need to figure out how to get access to e-file.
Your Honor, this was the state's motion, and I would assume that the state was ready to proceed when they filed the motion.
Yes, ma'am.
And we still are ready. Thank you, Attorney Taylor. Our officer is on.
Well,
I got that, Ms. Hagler, but the condition precedent for the court to determine whether a bond has been revoked is that the defendant, had a bond condition, and that they knew of the bond condition. Now, the reason I give credence to what Mr. Taylor is arguing is because previously you've presented evidence where the bond condition has been certified. I know the process, having been a magistrate. I also know that magistrates prepare their bond orders before they do the bond hearing, so that if somebody doesn't come up, then that stuff that gets put to the side and then you move on to the next person. So if it wasn't filed with the court, the court cannot assume that the person was present and was first appeared and given a bond condition at that time that they're aware of. There's not enough indicia of truthfulness to base their decision on. If it is possible, based on my knowledge of having been a magistrate, to have a fully completed bond condition form that was not given to the person, the defendant, and the defendant was not made aware of. So since I know that can happen, I would rather have at least one that was filed with the court to make it clear that this was a first appearance that took place, and then the documents were filed after the first appearance.
Yes, Your Honor. So at this time, I'm still holding. The state will go ahead and withdraw the motion and then refile once we get a copy of that.
All right, motion will be withdrawn. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. See you on Thursday. We're free to go at this time.